Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
If you've ever thought about building something new, or even just watched the startup scene, you probably wonder why so many just, fizzle out.
Yeah, they disappear pretty fast sometimes.
Exactly. So today, we're really digging into that.
Yeah.
Why do most startups fail? And crucially, what can we learn from it all?
Right. Think of it as a way to get smart fast. Learn from others' mistakes, basically.
Yeah, get those insights before you jump in, or even if you're just curious about how this whole entrepreneurial world works, we want to get to the core question.
Why do so many stumble?
And the numbers, they're pretty stark.
They really are. Something like, 90% don't make it?
Yeah, around 90%. And it's like 10% fail in the first year.
Wow.
And then over half are gone by year 5. It's sobering.
Definitely. But look, the point isn't to scare anyone off.
No, not at all.
It's about arming you, giving you the knowledge, the insights.
Exactly. So let's unpack the why and find some actionable stuff in there. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so where do we start? What's the biggest reason?
Well, the data consistently points to one main culprit. No market need.
No market need. Meaning
Yeah.
you build something nobody actually wants.
Pretty much, yeah. You can have this amazing, slick product, a brilliant team, everything executed perfectly. But if you've built it in a vacuum, if there isn't a real, genuine need or desire for it out there.
It doesn't matter how good it is.
Exactly. All that effort, all that money, it's just wasted, directed at nothing.
That's got to be a tough realization for a founder, pouring everything into it.
Oh, absolutely. It highlights why validation is it's non-negotiable. And you need to do it before you build the whole thing.
Right, before you sink serious time and cash.
You need to switch from thinking, wouldn't it be cool if, to what real problem exists? And
Are people willing to pay to solve it?
that's the key part. Willingness to pay. That's the ultimate validation.
So how do you actually figure that out? It's easy to get caught up in your own excitement.
Right?
Or just ask your friends who'll probably say it's great.
Yeah, the mom test problem. You need to get outside your bubble. Don't just pitch your idea.
Okay, so what then?
Talk to potential customers about their problems. How do they solve it now? What frustrates them? What are they already spending money on in that area?
Focus on their pain, not your solution yet.
Precisely. Listen more than you talk. Look for those workarounds they're using, the things they complain about. That's where the opportunities often lie. People talk about understanding the job to be done.
The job to be done. Like, what are they really trying to achieve?
Exactly. And how can your thing help them do that job better, faster, cheaper?
Makes sense. So the takeaway is build what people genuinely need, not just your pet project.
Nailed it. Okay, so let's say you've dodged that bullet, you found a real need, people are interested.
You're feeling good.
Right. But then comes the next big hurdle, simply running out of money.
The cash flow killer. Yeah, the fuel tank runs dry.
It's incredibly common, even for startups that seem to be doing well initially.
What causes that? Where does the money typically disappear?
Well, there are a few usual suspects. Big one is overspending too early.
Like fancy offices and stuff you don't strictly need.
Exactly. Or spending massively on marketing before the product is even really ready or proven. Another is undercharging.
Undercharging? Really?
Yeah, not valuing your solution properly or just not doing the math on your actual costs. Gross margins matter,
Right. And the third?
Just poor financial discipline, not tracking expenses carefully, burning through that initial investment way too fast without a clear plan for revenue.
It's terrifying. Having something people want, but having to close because you can't pay the bill.
It happens all the time.
So prevention. What can founders do?
Start lean, keep overheads incredibly low at the beginning, focus spending only on what's essential to build and test your core offering.
Okay, lean. Makes sense.
Track everything. Every penny, use simple budgeting tools. It doesn't have to be complicated, just consistent.
Know where the money's going.
And honestly, for a lot of founders, don't quit your day job too soon.
The safety net.
Yeah, bootstrap for as long as you possibly can. Wait until the business actually shows signs of generating real sustainable income before you go all in financially.
So it's about being really strategic, buying yourself time, that runway.
Exactly. That runway is critical. It lets you learn, adapt, make mistakes without instantly crashing. Smart money management buys you that crucial time.
Okay, runway secured. What's next on the potential failure list?
The team. The people.
Yes. You always hear it's all about the team.
And it really, really is. It's fascinating, actually. You can have a pretty average idea. But with an absolutely killer team, they might just pivot, adapt, figure it out, and find success.
Okay.
But take a truly brilliant, game-changing idea and give it to a dysfunctional team.
Probably not going anywhere good.
Much higher chance of failure. The team dynamic is either your greatest asset or your biggest liability.
So what makes a team dysfunctional in a startup context? What are the common problems?
Communication breakdown is massive.
Like non-talking or arguing.
Both. Lack of transparency, people working in silos, not being able to have honest, difficult conversations. It just breeds resentment and mistakes.
Yeah, I could see that.
Then there's the skills gap. Just not having the right people with the right expertise to actually build the product, market it, sell it, whatever's needed.
You need the right players for the game.
And maybe the most fundamental misaligned vision or values, especially between co-founders.
Ooh, yeah. If you're pulling in different directions.
It tears the company apart from the inside. You need to be rowing the same way.
So how do you build a strong team? What's the advice there?
Be incredibly intentional, especially with those first hires and co-founders. Don't just pick your friends.
Right.
Look for skills that complement yours. Look for different perspectives. Diversity of thought is huge.
Okay, complementary skills. What else?
Prioritize communication from day one. Set up regular check-ins. Foster an environment where people feel safe giving honest feedback, even when it's tough. And define roles and responsibilities clearly. Who owns what? It avoids turf wars and confusion down the line.
Makes sense. I heard someone call the early team rocket fuel or your wrecking ball.
That's a perfect way to put it. Seriously.
Okay, so we've got market need, money managed, great team. Are we safe yet?
Not quite. You could have all that, but if nobody knows you exist.
Marketing. Or rather, poor marketing.
Exactly. You've built this amazing thing, solved a real problem.
Yeah.
But it's sitting on a shelf, invisible.
The classic build it and they will come fallacy.
Totally. So many tech-focused founders especially get wrapped up in the product, and they just assume customers will magically find it. Marketing feels like an afterthought.
But it has to be baked in somehow.
Absolutely. You need to be thinking from the start. Who are our customers? Where are they? How do we reach them?
So what can early-stage startups do, especially if they don't have a huge marketing budget?
First, learn the basics, especially digital marketing now. You don't need to be an expert, but understand the fundamentals.
Okay, basic knowledge.
Figure out where your target audience hangs out online. Is it LinkedIn, Instagram, specific forums? Be there.
Go where the fish are.
Right. And start building an audience before you even launch.
How?
Share valuable content related to the problem you solve. Engage in conversations. Build an email list. Offer early access. You're warming up the market.
So you launch to an audience, not for one.
That's the ideal, yeah. Build community early, because even the best product gathers dust if no one sees it.
Okay, visibility covered.
Yeah.
What about getting pulled in too many directions? Is that a thing?
Oh, definitely. That leads us to the next killer. Lack of focus.
Lack of focus. Tell me more.
The startup world is full of shiny objects, new trends, new potential customer segments, new feature ideas. Tempting.
Very tempting. But if you try to chase everything, if you pivot constantly without really testing or validating...
You spread yourself too thin.
Exactly. You dilute your resources, your team's energy, your messaging. You never gain real traction in any one area.
So how do you resist that? How do you maintain focus? It really comes back to clarity on that core problem and target audience we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Pick one specific problem for one specific group and build the best solution for them. Go deep, not wide, especially at the start.
Laser focus.
Yeah. Now, this doesn't mean you don't experiment or test things rapidly. You should.
Right.
But those experiments should serve the overall focus strategy, not constantly change the strategy. Avoid that shiny object syndrome.
Got it. Test within the focus. Don't let tests become the focus. Clarity equals results.
Well put. Okay, so connected to focus, but slightly different, is the danger of refusing to adapt.
Refusing to adapt?
Yeah.
Like being too stubborn?
Kind of. It's when founders get so attached to their original idea, their initial vision.
Their baby?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That they ignore signals that things need to change, they resist feedback, ignore data.
Even if the market is clearly shifting or customers are saying something different?
Precisely. Markets aren't static. Customer needs evolve. New competitors emerge if you're not willing to adjust.
You get left behind.
Yeah.
Becomes irrelevant. Like sticking to an old map.
Perfect analogy. Your brilliant idea from 2 years ago might not be so brilliant today if the landscape has changed.
So how do you build in that adaptability? How do you stay flexible without losing focus?
It's a balance. It starts with a mindset. Be willing to be wrong. Actively seek out and listen to customer feedback, especially the critical stuff.
Embrace the critique.
Track your data religiously. What's actually happening, not what you think is happening. And be prepared to pivot.
Okay, but didn't we just say constant pivoting is bad?
Yes, panic pivoting or pivoting without reason is bad. But a strategic pivot based on real data and customer feedback is often essential for survival. It's adjusting the sails, not abandoning ship.
Okay, got the distinction. Strategic adaptation based on evidence.
Exactly.
Wow, we've covered a lot. Market need, money, team, marketing, focus, adaptability. That feels like most of the big business reasons.
It covers the major strategic and operational ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's one more critical factor, often overlooked, that comes up in the sources.
Oh, what's that?
The human element, specifically emotional burnout.
Ah, the founder themselves.
Yes. The pressure in a startup is just immense. The long hours, the constant decision-making, the financial stress, the isolation.
Yeah, it's notoriously tough.
And sometimes a startup fails not because the idea is bad or the market wasn't there, but because the founder simply ran out of steam, physically and mentally exhausted.
They hit a wall. The business dies because the leader burns out.
It happens more than people admit. You can't make good decisions when you're depleted. Your motivation tanks. Everything suffers. Ignoring your own well-being isn't hustle. It's unsustainable.
So what's the advice here? How do founders protect themselves?
Prioritize your health. Seriously, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity for long-term performance.
Like sleep, exercise, time off.
All of it. Set boundaries. Build a support system, mentors, advisors, other founders who get it. Don't try to do it all alone.
Talk to people. Share the load.
And understand that rest isn't weakness. It's strategic. Taking breaks, recharging, that's how you stay in the game.
That's a really important one. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's quickly recap those key reasons. We had number 1, no market need.
Mm-hmm. The big one.
Number 2, running out of money. Cash flow problems.
Financial management.
3, the wrong team. Bad dynamics or skills gaps.
Crucial.
4, poor marketing, just being invisible.
Gotta get seen.
5, lack of focus, chasing too many shiny objects.
Stay the course.
6, refusing to adapt, being too rigid.
Gotta evolve.
And finally, number 7, emotional burnout. The human cost.
Don't forget yourself.
It's quite a list. But, just by listening to this, by thinking about these points.
You're already doing something most startups don't. You're learning proactively.
Right. You're already way ahead of the curve compared to someone just jumping in blind.
Absolutely. Understanding these pitfalls is the first step to avoiding them.
So the message isn't don't try, it's try smarter.
Yeah.
Focus on that validation, manage the money wisely, build that great adaptable team, get the word out, stay focused but flexible.
And take care of yourself in the process.
Yeah. Do all that, and your odds, they get significantly better. You're stacking the deck in your favor.
Definitely increases your chances of being in that 10% that succeed.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening, the thing to mull over after this deep dive.
Yeah.
How can take these potential failure points we've discussed, market, money, team, marketing, focus, adaptation, burnout, and consciously build defenses against them into your plans, whatever you're working on, even if it's not a traditional startup?
That's a great takeaway. Thinking about failure not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared. How do you proactively address these risks right from the start? Food for thought.